Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about bottled cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
In this bulletin, electoral decree to be out next week. Tropical Cyclone Lucy expected to sideswipe Fiji, and Prime Minister working on registering his party. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The much-awaited electoral decree is now expected to be out late next week, according to information provided to the Diplomatic Corps by the Electoral Commission today. Edwin Nund reports.
High Commissioners and Ambassadors got first-hand information on Fiji's progress towards the general election.
We were able to run them, take them through what we've done to date, and also presented them a kind of like a slide presentation of where we're going and the needs of the Electoral Commission and the challenges that lay ahead of us.
These men and women represent governments ready to sign off on funds needed by the Elections Office for the preliminary work. For Chen Banyang, the 3 areas of priority are voter awareness on one-day polling, filling in the senior positions at the Elections Office, and making sure that staff at ground level know how to conduct the polls.
Personnel and training, so that when it comes to the polling day, that we have all the equipment and all the polling stations and all the personnel in place, so that we are able to also deliver the counting within that particular same day.
The chairmans also hinted at what's contained in the electoral decree. Polling will close at 5 p.m. and results should start coming out within an hour or two. The decree itself was expected out last week. The Commission has taken responsibility for the delay.
It provides for new things, and when a time, as a Commission, when we look at it, we have to look at it with the view that the decree has to be bring about a fair and credible election. So we made our comments, and there was an exchange. They came back for clarifications. They asked us why we were making this particular comment on this particular section, so there was an exchange of dialogue back and forth with the drafters.
The Commission hopes to make progress on appointing a supervisor of elections by the end of this month.
I've had continuing dialogues with the Attorney General on that particular issue, and we're hoping, again, that there will be something surfacing by the end of March. We should have a good idea that that is so, because we know that the supervisor of election has to be on board as well. We can't have him down there 1 month before the election. That would be ridiculous.
As for the briefing today, many diplomatic missions have indicated they're ready to help, and the Electoral Commission is now working on a detailed budget. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
Tropical Cyclone Lucy is expected to brush by Fiji but will bring some stormy weather in the west. At this stage, it is still Category 2 with winds of 60 knots and intensifying. The Fiji Meteorology Office says it is anticipated to develop into a Category 3 hurricane by this evening. Akusita Tale reports.
Just a cyclone that is going to take a side swipe on Fiji, rather than a full landfalling cyclone, direct hit.
The Fiji Meteorology Office has issued a gale warning for Yasawa, Mamanuca and from Tabua to Sigatoka, as well as Kandavu and nearby islands.
Those areas are now currently under gale warning, 35 knots or 65 kilometers per hour with momentary gusts to 90 kilometers per hour. Heavy rain in the next as you can see on the satellite picture, the rain bands are now hitting us, and they started earlier, and it's now going to come much more frequent, and the rains will become heavier.
At 3 p.m. today, Cyclone Lucy was located roughly 650 kilometers to the west of Nandi. Wangaidelua says the system will turn south before it reaches Fiji shores.
It's just the left part of the cyclone that's going to hit Fiji, so particularly the areas exposed, as mentioned earlier, they will get probably the worst kind of weather, particularly in terms of wind, rain and swells.
He adds they have received reports from islands starting to feel the impact of the cyclone.
We've already got reports from Yasawa that they're experiencing big waves coming from the west and northwest, so it is real, and people are advised to take necessary precautions to save lives and property. Weather is
Wangaidelua adds they will continue to monitor the system as it may change its track. Akosita Talei, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says he will soon start collecting the 5,000 signatures needed to register his new political party for the 2014 elections. This is required under the political party's decree. Speaking in Nausori today, Bainimarama said people will have a clear choice between his vision of a better future in the new Fiji or a return to the Fiji of old. He says it's become clear in recent days that some people want to drag Fiji back to the past.
Giving back that power to the elite isn't going to happen. People want their leaders to command respect because they have earned it. Because of the manner that comes from the high standards of personal conduct, the morality and their care and love for their people.
Bainimarama says ordinary Fijians are a lot smarter than they are being given credit for by some politicians.
Smart enough to see through the hypocrisy, the power plays. Smart enough to support someone trying to take back something that doesn't belong to them, that isn't rightfully theirs. And smart enough to see the gulf between how some people conduct themselves in public and how they conduct themselves in their personal lives.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the opening of Fiji's 22nd telecentre in Vudi Nausori. The Silla Central High School's telecentre, funded by the government, will benefit 611 students and about 6,000 people from surrounding areas. Ritika Pratap has more.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says his government aims to make Fiji a smarter place, where people are able to compete better in an ever-changing world.
We need smarter Fijian workers to attract the investment we need to improve our living standards. Smarter farmers, smarter mariners, smarter tradespeople, teachers, health workers, all those things a nation needs to function at a more efficient level.
The Silla Central School had only 3 computers shared by over 600 students. The Bainimarama government's push for more education has now changed the situation.
Majority of us come from the Nausori community and surrounding areas, and we're very fortunate that this facility has been launched in our institution.
Like they are not good in financial wise, the government is assisting them by helping them to print their projects for free, typing, and researching, especially for research. Like in every subject nowadays, we have to do a lot of research in order to get more knowledge in our education.
Maikali Baranangi is an ex-student. When he's not in class at USP, he's volunteering at the telecentre for up to 5 hours every day to help other students.
I have that enthusiasm within me that I was a student here, and because of that I just want to use my time to assist my fellow colleagues.
Fiji's 23rd telecentre will be opened at Kalambu Secondary School in Nasino tomorrow. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Coming up, power's back on in the West.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Singapore.
और किसके सुनिए यार, हमारा एक सच्चा साथी है मिर्ची एफएम लंबा साथी.
I love Mirchi FM. It's so hot.
देखे में लाल लाल, खाए में हाय हाय. Tangi tangi tauwa में Mirchi FM is hot.
Here at Rugby Town, Singapore, love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Suva. It's hot.
हम वहीं लंबासा में रहता है, तो क्या बताइए हम मिर्ची एफएम सुनता है.
Mirchi FM, बहुत जुलूम जुलूम.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Today FM is #1 here in Singatoka.
We love Today FM in Lambasa. It rocks!
My favorite station in Nandi is Today FM.
Listening to Today FM rocks in Suva.
Lotoka City love Today's kid music.
I love Today FM because they play all my songs.
We love Today FM at Vuniva Lambasa. Yeah, it rocks!
I love Today FM because it rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Power supply has been restored in the West. FEA Chief Executive Hasmukh Patel says they've repaired the 132,000 volt transmission line, which was damaged by a lightning strike near Nandarivatu on Monday.
Because it was an inaccessible area, we had to use helicopter to access the area in transporting men and materials and equipment. And we gave it a best shot to that extent that last night in the hills, where no one practically resides, our team were actually camping out there under a tent, waiting for first light this morning. They resumed work at 5 a.m. this morning and completed the work by about 7 o'clock. And we had power supply restored to the entire Western Division by 9 a.m.
The repairs cost $50,000. The first Bollywood movie set entirely in Auckland, New Zealand premieres at Damodar City this hour. Urban Turban is the story of an Indian boy who meets a Western girl and has a touch of Fiji in it as well. Ritika Pratap reports.
How long have you been in New Zealand?
Not long. Indian boy meets New Zealand girl, they fall in love, and then the trouble starts. Dominating relatives don't want the relationship to flourish.
How the two cultures collide, or how the two cultures get together and how they mix, and what really happens. And so it's pretty much about their love life. It's pretty much about how they got together and where their meetings took them.
The movie shot in English with drama, romance, misunderstandings and broken dreams. But no Bollywood flick would be complete without a song.
There are a lot of issues where people actually don't want to give up their family for a love. So the whole film is surrounded by kind of giving a thought about how much can we give away for love, to whether is it family first or love first.
Lead actor Rishi Deepak, who also featured in a Fijian movie Highway to Suva, says Urban Turban has a strong message for youth.
It's going to be an amazing experience for them as well, because when you come to a different country and you meet different people, how you react if you are in love with someone and how your family reacts to it. So I think people are going to relate to the movie, and I think they're going to have fun.
The movie features Fiji's very own Jagdish Punja, who adds light moments in the film.
Love stories where in this there's a bit of tension and drama. There has to be light moments, and that's where I come in. And I think that's where they put the script where I put a little bit of light moments in the movie.
Urban Turban was post-produced in India and is being premiered in Fiji before hitting cinemas in New Zealand. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The judges of Fiji's Dancing Superstar will today choose the 5 top finalists for the show's grand finale this weekend. Show director Sandeep Narayan says it was tough trying to sort out the top 5 because the semi-finalists had come a long way improving themselves on the show. The top 5 finalists are John Peckham and Charlene Ali, Deepshika Vishwani, Neha Narayan, Glenn Makalinau and Black Coconut Tribe. Out of the competition are Mohammed Zibran and Ashwal Kumar.
Whatever decision we make today, it should not affect your profession, it should not affect your career, and it should not affect or lose hope that what you're doing. You must be doing what you are doing. You should be proud that you have been reached to this far in this competition. Decision been made by vote, but we also see that the vote that we have received in our platform, it received based on your talent.
The grand finale this Saturday will air live on FBCTV at 8 p.m. Sports now, and here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Jackie. In sports tonight, 12-member Fiji 7 squad to be named on Friday, and major sponsorship deal for local football sides. Stay with us for the details.
Ito'y singato kung talita na parong na Radio Fijuan na station ng Mutua.
Ako na poro ko na talita. Mandaw talita kini na parong Radio Fijuan.
Kitongo isu untuk talita na parong na Radio Fijuan station ng Mutua.
Kito talita ka na Radio Fijuan.
Na Radio Fiji 1 and daw talitek talanga Sinatoka.
Station Imagino Pinatia na Radio Fiji 1 Pongkongan Bayan.
Na Radio Fiji 1 nandumay bitin Pongkongan ni BNN.
Bato bahe, बामे रेडियो फीजी 2 के कौन सा के रोके ऑनलाइन क्लियर
रेडियो फीजी 2 रग-रगी के लोग ज्यादा सुनते हैं।
नैनी में हम सबकी पसंद रेडियो फीजी 2।
तालेबू के लोग रेडियो फीजी 2 सबसे ज्यादा सुन रहे हैं।
मेरी पसंद रेडियो फीजी 2, मसूरी में सभी को पसंद रेडियो फीजी 2। टावा में रेडियो फीजी 2 सभी कोई सुनते हैं।
रेडियो फीजी 2 रॉक। रेडियो फीजी 2 आई लव यू।
देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2।
Welcome back to FBC Sports. The Vodafone Fiji 7 squad marched into camp today. Coach Ben Ryan will name his 12-member team for Japan and Hong Kong on Friday. Players know they have 2 days to stake a claim, and this includes those with injuries.
Physio has done a good job in working overtime throughout the weekend, and this last few days working on Sami as well as seeing Samu. So it's how the body reacts is now the main one.
Will they be able to recover before time?
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. We're hoping to take them. You know, these guys are class players. You know, they put in the hard yards of training.
In one of the biggest sponsorship deals for local teams, Vodafone Fiji has splashed out $100,000 for the Mba and Nandi football sides. Both teams today received $50,000 each in cash for the OFC Champions League campaign. Indra Singh has more.
One of the biggest sponsorship deals in the history of Fijian sports took place today, with Mba and Nandi now having no room for complaints of financial backing.
A positive sign from Fiji FA by giving $50,000, and thanks to Vodafone who came in to assist us, and I think so it's fitting that this time on behalf of my people of Nandi, wish to thank Fiji FA and Vodafone for sponsoring Nandi team. I think so it's a great achievement today.
It's 10 years, and grateful and thankful to Vodafone for sponsoring both Nandi and Mba clubs for this year's OCL 2014. And I know more will come as soccer grows in this country.
Communications giant Vodafone Fiji has splashed out to assist the two teams as they look at doing the best from the Oceania region in the Champions League.
I give you assurance on behalf of the people of Nandi that we'll reach the semi-finals.
They sure does take care of the majority of the expenses and preparation costs for Fiji's top teams.
All the sponsors, they play a very vital role in any events, and it doesn't mean that they are rich, that's why they are sponsoring. They are there to help just like clubs and other organizations.
So with the cash in the bag, it's now time for action. In 3 weeks, the Vodafone Mba and Nandi teams will have to prove their worth. Interesting, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Fiji under-20 football side has only 2 months to go before the World Cup qualifiers in Suva. And to prepare accordingly, the side will be touring New Zealand, where it will face top Kiwi clubs. As Indra Singh reports, it's now about fine-tuning the team before the playoffs.
A number of matches in New Zealand have been lined up by the Fiji under-20 football side in the build-up to the World Cup playoffs.
Going to New Zealand to play quite a few matches with Auckland City and Waitakere United, plus New Zealand under-20, so that will give a good build-up to our team, and that is what will make a lot of difference.
With the side having been in camp for the past 2 months, Kumar understands it will not be an easy task tackling the best from the region in their quest to play at the World Cup.
Yes, before last year in 2011 we were fourth, and then last year in the under-20s we were second to New Zealand, and we are moving ahead and we are trying to do our best to give our best performance into the upcoming World Cup qualifications.
Also, the most important aspect of the game is goal scoring, which the strikers of this team have been practicing from day one.
We are working towards it, especially we are working, first of all we have to work towards the fitness, in all aspects of fitness, not only one, not only endurance, we have to work on speed, agility, balance, and then we are working on to mostly finishing work.
One goal has been achieved by the team, and that is to have the playoffs take place in the country. Now it's left to take down the Pacific rivals for a first ever World Cup outing. Interesting, FBC Sports.
The Fiji under-18 hockey teams will return home tomorrow with a fistful of bronze and silver medals after a successful outing at the Oceania Youth Qualifiers in Vanuatu. Elena MacDonald reports while both sides did their sport and country proud by not returning home empty-handed, the women have a lot more hard yards ahead of them by qualifying for the Youth Olympic Games in China.
Competing in the Oceania Youth Olympic qualifiers this week has done wonders for Fiji hockey.
It's a quick look into the type of hockey that will be played in Papua New Guinea in the South Pacific Games, which will be five-a-side. So I think it's come at the right time.
It's also given the Fiji under-18 women the confidence needed to become tougher opponents at the Nanjing Games in August.
At this particular tournament, only Vanuatu stood in their way. But to perform credibly against New Zealand was the main objective of the girls, because most likely those are going to be the top end of the competition.
Fiji hockey officials are already sorting out logistics.
Allowing for injuries, allowing for players who can't go away for 3 weeks before major exams, for example. And we've got a couple of Form 6, Form 7 girls. So it's at a critical time of their education.
With experience in the shortened code, he's even offered some handy advice.
They should focus on learning to hit and stop and use the boards.
The Fiji under-18s return home tomorrow with not only their heads held high, but with the newfound experience that should get Fiji hockey a step closer to becoming formidable challengers for the big guns. Elena MacDonald, FBC Sports.
That was your sports for tonight. Here's Jackie now with business.
Soil fertility on Taveuni has declined significantly over the years. The finding was part of extensive studies by the Secretariat of the Pacific Community, the Agriculture Ministry, Queensland Department of Primary Industries, USP and the UNDP. SPC's Corporate Production and Extension Advisor, Dr. Halavatau, says the reduction in soil fertility is caused by poor agricultural practices.
They don't appear to be true as it is, because when you look at a closed system, look at the forest, it's lush and green, but that is because the system is closed. Everything is recycled and it looks lush and green. But then you take the soils and test. A lot of the soils of Taveuni limiting in two elements, that is available potassium and the soluble phosphorus.
Farmers are being encouraged to grow makana beans to rejuvenate fertility. A new resource centre will help Tete farmers access information via the internet, a library, video materials and through the supply of natural fertilisers. And here's Genevieve with the weather.
Thanks, Jackie. The weather seemed to clear up in most places today, but we still had some morning showers in Suva and Savu. It's about to come out, there it is, as well as afternoon rain in other major centres. Looking at temperatures, Bai and Lambasa have the highest today on 33 degrees. Nandi follows on 32, while Suva, Lautoka and Savu are on 31. It's highly likely that we'll get rain and thunderstorms the entire day tomorrow. If this does occur, then please do stay indoors as much as possible. You don't want anyone getting struck by lightning. Now, in case you're wondering what's happening over the next few days, a tropical cyclone gale warning is in force for the Yasawas and Mamanuca group, the West, Kandavu, Vatulele, Benga, and nearby smaller islands. There's also a damaging heavy swell warning. And if you are wondering who's responsible for all those aerial shots we featured the past few weeks, here it is, a Medivac helicopter landing at CWM Hospital.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. The headlines once again, electoral decree to be out next week, Tropical Cyclone Lucy expected to sideswipe Fiji, and Prime Minister working on registering his party. This week's poll question, we're asking, should Fiji have another superannuation fund? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all from FBC News tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow evening. Good night.
Bulan 2 Cyber Tolu FM, enapan 2 raki-raki.
Bula FM namban 2 inosor.
Go etabo ke boto kola sa Bula FM nga.
Bula FM nampan 2 korbo.
Bula FM namban 2 sawa.
Bula FM namban 2 lotoka. Bula.
Namban 2 nang Bula FM memba.
Bula FM
namban 2 NSR in Singapore.
Kalau tali tak ada warung nang Bula FM lotoka.
Ali akar warung Bula FM namban 2 NSR.
Bula FM namban 2 NSR.